Hi folks, Doc here. I've been trying to work out a way to get this bumper on here. That was the whole purpose for making the jerry can, gas tank and all that stuff. I got to get the bumper secured on here and a winch mount arranged. And there's the bumper there. You saw it in the other video. And I'm looking at the front end of this thing, and the tire comes kind of close to the frame rail at full steer. So I was originally thinking to have some tubing come out here or something like that. And the only thing I'm worried about is the tire hitting whatever structural members I have there. I don't want to have to limit my steering and put stops in to stop that from happening, because then I won't be able to carve as tight a circle. So I'm kind of looking at the way the bumper is and the way the front end is, and I'd like to have some pieces come right off the front here. But this metal here isn't all that thick. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 14 gauge. So if I attach the bumper to that, it's not going to be all that strong. And the problem is winter's coming, and I'm really thinking about affixing a plow blade to this. So whatever I do has to be really strong, so I can cram it in the snowbanks and stuff without causing any damage. And I think I've got a plan worked out. So we'll get back to that. Okay, so here's the situation. I've got some badass C-channel material here. This stuff's pretty wicked. It's about 4 inches on the outside. Hang on a second. Zing! Yep. By what, 1.5 inches? And thickness is 3/16. This is some pretty heavy duty stuff. So my intention is to cut out this thin crap and insert that in its place, and that'll give me a serious cross member. And then I'm going to mount 2 more pieces to it coming forward to mount the bumper to. That ought to be strong enough. Okay, so as you can see, this stuff wasn't very thick. I think I suggested earlier in the video it was 14 gauge. I think it might actually be 16. I don't know, it's a little bit tough to tell what with the flash from cutting it. It's either 14 or 16, but honestly, it's not something that I want to plow with or beat on stuff with. This is going to be a lot stronger. Now these hooks here, as you can see, I think I'm going to take this crap out of the way too. These hooks here, as you can see, are kind of hanging a little bit low, and I've been catching weeds with them. I'm just hesitant to cut them off just yet because I kind of have yet to see what the future holds as far as the plow goes, and I might wind up having to use those for lower mounts. So for now, I think I'm just going to leave them where they sit. Okay, so a wee bit of skimming and trimming, and she ought to be just about ready to go in there once I can get it started. Yeah, that'll do. Eight inches. That is going to be 8 3/4 apart, approximately. So 4 3/16 to either side of that. Sorry, 4 3/8. I need another cup of coffee. 4 3/8 there. There. Yes. Stupid. Get over there. Definitely need another cup of coffee before I treat it there, and I'm nuts. Alright, so that gives us 8 3/4 in between them. Beautiful. So we're going to make another mark there. And one right there. And then we're going to start tacking bits on. A man cannot have too many magnets. These things are awesome. Get everything positioned and just hit it. This one for now. We'll fill it in later. Let's get the other side set up. Yep, looks good to me. Okay, there's the basics. You can tell by all the crap on there that I'm using flux core, and I'm doing that because you can get better penetration switched over to flux core. You basically get more out of the machine. And I'm out of shielding gas. So that's a good argument right there. So here we have our bumper, and the idea behind putting the brackets where we did as opposed to a little further outboard is to basically hide them a little bit. So when I get this all in here, you're not going to see these brackets just like out here in the middle of nowhere. So that should do it. This will be plenty strong, there's no question there. So I've just got to get her hung and tacked on, and away we go. Ought to do it. Nice. I'll burn that in. Okay, so she's on there. And I've got the welds all burnt in. It's solid as hell. It's definitely not going anywhere. And now for the next step, we're going to grab the winch and just kind of try and see how things are going to go. Okay, so this is basically what I'm hoping to accomplish here. I've got the winch sitting pretty on top of the framing there. I'm going to put a plate that it'll sit properly and bolt down to. And then this space in the bumper I decided was just going to be absolutely ingenious to put the fair lead into. And it looks pretty good in there, it's not a bad fit. So I just have to decide whether I'm going to do some plate work, welding plates or pieces of plate to the bumper to bolt the fair lead to, or just cheat, say screw it, and weld the fair lead right on. I'm running a little bit short for time. I want to speed this process up as much as possible because the weather's starting to suck. And sure as shit, I got to clean out my garage so I can start doing this stuff in my garage again. Right now it's just full. But in the meantime, the weather's starting to suck. I'd like to get this thing done before the snow starts to fly and things get crappy. Okay, so there's the fair lead in place. As you can see, I cut and fitted some pieces of 1/4-inch steel plate to mount to. I really gave careful consideration to just taking the rollers out and welding the fair lead frame on and then putting it all back together again, and that just basically, in my mind, amounted to a hack job, and I wasn't too interested in that. Okay, so I've managed to lay hands on some kick-ass 1.5-inch flat bar that's 1/4 of an inch thick, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 pieces of flat bar and just weld them in here. One there, and then drill out to mount to the winch. And the reason for that is I want to leave as much of this area open as possible for 2 reasons. Number one, with the winch setting in place, I need the cable to pass through into the fair lead here. And, you know, if I've got plating here, that's going to be a problem. Now, I could have a straight flat plate going across right underneath the winch. But at this point, it's just a matter of what materials I have available to me, what's going to be strong enough, you know, what's going to work for me, what's not going to work for me. Plus, I might have something cooking up in the future where it would be awfully handy to be able to have the cable go pretty much straight down. And I'm just going to let your imaginations go a little mental on that one for a while. For now anyways, that's the plan, is 2 pieces of flat bar welded in and drilled to mount the winch. Put it through. So she's still pretty hot right now, so I'm not even going to attempt to put the bolts in for mock-up. But basically, she's going to sit right there and run the cable through. Boom. So I'm going to let this cool for a few minutes, and I'm going to clean it up a little bit more and get some paint on it before I get my butt kicked by the weather, because I think it's about to rain. Figure I'd roll it out so you could have a better look. That's how she sits right now. It's not what I'm going to call done. I have to wire the winch in and put the controls and the solenoid pack and all that. And the bumper is going to have some sort of upper hoop, but I kind of need to figure out what I'm doing with the grill first and what I'm doing with the plow first, because it will be affected. So I'm going to hold off on that. And maybe I'll do the upper hoop and the winch wiring in a video together, or maybe I'll do them separately. Not sure yet. I'll figure that out as we go. So I've shot some black paint on there right now just to stop the surface rust from occurring until I can reach the next stage. And that's how she sits. It's one heck of a bumper. I have no doubt that it's going to put up with the abuse that I put it through. I cut some pieces off that chassis before that the bumper came off, and that's some pretty thick, strong tubing. So I think she's going to do just fine. Until next time, thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, thank you for sharing. Remember to head off to sulphurcitydesign.com to feed your adhesive addiction.